Cool. Alana, you're reviewing a game that is available in VR, but have you played much with Superhot in VR yet?
No, not at all.
I played it in VR.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think it was at E3 like 2 years ago.
Still,
right.
back when it was like a browser game or whatever.
No, it was a game jam game originally.
It was a game jam game, and then it got released on a browser, and then it was kickstarted for $250,000, and then it released. By the time this is up, it will be out. Yeah. So it's been through like a weird cycle, but it's obviously the release now is designed for VR. So if you played it 2 years ago, I don't know how different it would be.
I played it on the Oculus DK2.
Mm-hmm.
Have we literally said what the game's name is yet?
Superhot.
Okay. Did you say it?
Pronounced super hot.
One more
Say
time.
it. Super hot.
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 HAWT. Hot. Hot.
Super hot. Yeah, that's how they say it. They yell it at you very
So
often.
often.
Very often.
Well, it's actually spelled how it super hot.
Super hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway.
What is going on? I'm sorry.
So yeah, I want to give a quick rundown on what it actually
Yeah,
is,
so
and
you reviewed
because it's a
it.
cool concept.
Sure. It's a really cool concept. It's basically, I think the tagline they have on the website is the FPS where time stops when you do. Kind of not true. Time doesn't actually stop.
It's a real slow.
A bit of a lie.
down.
I think there is an option to make that true, though. Where it's like,
stop?
yeah, because there's an option you can turn on an option where it's like time does not progress when you look around.
I don't think it does anyway.
No.
Regardless.
I might be misremembering.
Effectively, it's a game where you have kind of really contained levels. Like one of my favorite ones was you're in an elevator. There's 3 enemies, one either side of you and one in front of you, and you have to take out each of them. They all have pistols. And you have to take out each one of them without them getting you first, meaning
It's
that you
the
have
Captain
to,
America Winter Soldier scene.
basically, except that you're not Captain America. So you just have to, because time moves really slowly if you don't move, that whole time you're just like watching to see which of the enemies is raising their pistol first, and then you'll go like take a tiny little step, because if you step, time moves quickly, so you walk over a little bit, and then you'll like punch that guy and then try and steal his gun, but stealing his gun might mean that time speeds up too quickly and the others shoot you. So it's just like you have to like really, really carefully take steps to do every single thing that you do, so that you're aware of what all your enemies are doing at every point in time, because if you play it like a regular shooter, which I think you were saying you kept wanting to do, you just die. You don't really stand a chance.
Yeah, I kept trying to break the habit, right? Because early on, I'm just like running around and trying to punch guys and grab pistols, and I'm like, I'll probably be fine. I probably won't get shot. I shot
do.
constantly.
Yeah, the fastest action, or the action that takes up the most time, is picking something up. So every time that I would go to like pick up an item, because sometimes you don't have one, and hitting someone with an object will make them drop whatever gun they have. But that, like the motion of, because you have to complete the full action, it doesn't like slow time while you're grabbing
Sure,
it.
yeah.
So that can take like 1 second, and in that 1 second, someone can run into the room and shoot you.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's
Yeah,
just
1
such
second
a
of you
risk.
picking thing up is a bullet leaving a chamber and
Yes.
entering
Exactly,
your
because
skull.
it's such a risk.
It all does play out in real time, right? Because when you finish a level, it shows you the full complete playthrough in real time.
Which is like 10 seconds.
Yeah, or less.
Shorter, usually, yeah. It's super short. It's just that
Super short.
super short. It's just one of my favorite things in it is if someone's like shooting at you and then you dodge every individual bullet, because you can do that when you're playing. Most shooters, they shoot so fast that you can't even see bullets. You just die.
You just take your damage and
aiming
your
at you
screen
and you
lights
die.
up red.
Yeah, but in this, it's like someone will come at you with a machine gun, or like I think it's a kind of burst rifle, and it'll have individual bullets coming at you, and if you strafe in the right way, you can avoid every single bullet as it's coming towards you, and then shoot them. And it's
Very
like,
Matrix.
yeah, totally Matrix.
And it feels
it's really
so
cool.
good to
Yeah.
do that. Like, knowing that you were spatially aware of everything around you enough to like walk through a string of bullets in a game where one will kill you. Like if you get hit by anything, a punch, a melee weapon, or a bullet or whatever, you're dead instantly.
That's real life.
That's why that
real
goddamn
life.
elevator was so hard, because it's like you try and grab a gun so you can shoot someone, and then the guy that you just disarmed to grab the gun punches you.
Yeah.
You're just like, God.
I just ended up, my tactic for that one was I just looked at the guy on the left and punched him, guy on the right and punched him, guy in the middle punched him, grabbed a gun, shot them all. Elevator doors open, shoot the other guys on the outside.
I feel like it was not that.
Easy.
You made it sound so much easier. Because I'm pretty sure, like, by the time I'd punched the 3 guys, the first guy was ready to punch me
Oh,
again.
man.
It was just like, ah! But that one took a while, but it was super cool.
So it sounds like it's a puzzle. God, damn it.
It's absolutely a puzzle.
A puzzle game in
Definitely.
FPS clothing.
Like even more
Yeah.
so than Hitman is a puzzle game that is sort of like a stealth shooter thing. Like,
Yeah.
That's actually a good point, yeah.
It's very much a puzzle game because it's instances with very set solutions, and then you can tinker with it in different ways. Because Alana might grab a gun off a table that I didn't know existed, so instead I'm running through an area and I'm just like throwing beer bottles at somebody while I'm trying to find something. Or I might find an area of the level that nobody
Has
ever
weapons
found.
or doesn't have weapons.
Yeah. And you might find like a gun rack in the back room that has a shotgun. And it's like, you probably won't because it takes so much time to get there. But if you do, you're rewarded with an interesting new approach to the level because now
Very
the
good
guys are
point.
swarming
The
to you.
majority of
and-
the time you won't get there because to get there you have to run there.
Yeah,
It's
like
all
each
the
step
things that
is
can
a
happen while
commodity.
you
Right,
run.
like
Yeah.
you're usually so occupied with killing the nearest guy as soon as possible because they're
Yeah.
so dangerous that you don't think about exploring the levels. But there are things to find in these very contained spaces.
And it can be like you versus like 15, sometimes more than that,
Yep.
and they're all in different places. So it's just like if you were to play that in real time, it would be absolutely impossible. But then you watch your replay, and I mean the replay is in real time.
And it's like
just
watching
your
a
steps are
pro
so broken up,
Quake
and you're
match
like,
or something.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I did that. It's really cool.
It's like John Wick, like those action
Yes.
scenes. Like imagine, like maybe this will help people who can't actually look at this game right now. But imagine like a John Wick action scene where he would like punch somebody and then stop and think about what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
And you get to take as much time as you want basically to figure out, okay, who am I going to punch next? What am I going to grab next and throw in somebody's face?
Rather than making decisions really quickly. And I kind of wonder if people who are smarter would be faster at it because they make decisions faster, so they don't need to slow the game
yeah, yeah.
down. So
Yeah.
it's like it's the same as we make decisions in real time. You just are given more time because it's slow. So it's like I feel like if you were a really intelligent person, you could finish a level super quickly because that decision making is a lot
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah,
So-
and it's similar to any like turn-based tactics game, except the turns are dynamic, right? You get to pick when you go and when you stop.
Yeah. It's similar to the John Wick thing, too. Like, it reminds me, I think it was the second Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. Like, it wasn't
Totally
very
like
good,
that.
but it had that, like,
Someone saw that?
awesome...
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly.
I know the exact part.
Andrew
you're
Goldfarb was
referring
in
to.
it.
But it had this like really awesome gimmick throughout where he would do the Sherlock Holmes thing of like visualizing the crime scene, right? Like he figured out exactly how it happened and who was doing what because of he's so perceptive. But he did that in like a fist fight.
Yeah.
Where he figured
And
out
it
like
actually slowed down while you were
yeah, and he slows down. He's like, okay, if I do this and this and this, he'll react like this. I'll respond, and it shows him thinking this through. And then the next scene is just him doing
executing it.
and it's amazing.
That's super hot.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you guys, I know you guys both hated the story.
It's so dumb.
Oh, it's really bad.
It's one of those stories that's just like, get out of my way.
Okay, when you finish it, I feel like this isn't a spoiler because no one's gonna play it for the story. It tells you to advertise the game as part of like the plot. It's like, oh, now it's your duty to tell all of your friends to play Superhot. You must spread the virus or whatever. And it's like, this is really just super distasteful. Like, I'm just not gonna do that. It's super gross. It's like
Stop saying super.
doesn't have doesn't have like any self-awareness. And the whole
Well,
thing's
I
just,
mean,
It's so self-aware that it loses track of itself.
I mean, you,
maybe.
you did write a positive review, so you are telling all
I
your friends
am
to play
actually
Superhot.
telling
You're
people to
spreading
play
the
it.
virus.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. But it does all the dumb stuff of like even more so than Hotline Miami or any BioShock game or whatever, right? Like any game or Spec Ops, anything that is like, you're in a video game, you're listening to the designers. Like, I would say even more than the Magic Circle, this game is overt and stupid about how it handles
it
like,
literally
you're
says,
not in
"Dance,
control. Dance, dog. You're going to do what I say. Good dog.
Because it literally says all of those things. It doesn't
Yes.
just imply them. It actually, like, giant text comes up on the screen and tells you that. And you're like, shut up.
like, it's...
Just let me play the game.
Like the unsubtlety of it is so annoying and stupid and takes away from how genius the rest of the
I
game
thought
is.
if that happened in the 90s, people would have loved it.
Oh yeah,
But it's like now
Definitely.
it's just like, just leave me alone.
Just stop.
Which is also kind of funny because part of it is that like you're supposed to be super addicted and you can't stop playing. So it's like in every part that I was like, just let me play the game. I'm like, wait, it's right. I really do want to play it. It was really dumb. And I feel like it's because it was a browser-based game and then they made it a full release. It's like, it would have been better like Angry Birds, where it's just you finish a level and then you unlock the next level and it's slightly harder. That would have been better than what it is.
But the other complaint you had about it was that there's just not enough kind of new spins on the mechanic.
Right. It only ever introduces one new thing, which is the ability to possess someone, which kind of means that you can just look at an enemy and jump into their body, and
It's like PsyOps. Gotta love that game.
Perhaps he's real good.
and it introduces that pretty late, but then you never actually. I think there's only one level where you actually need it. You can still play everything without ever needing it. Whereas if like something like Portal introduces a new object or the orange goop that makes you bounce.
Yeah.
I think orange is bounce and blue is slide.
Yeah, it you have to use those in future levels, whereas the possession thing is just like here's the thing that makes this slightly easier.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Like the best puzzle games are the ones that like teach you a rule and
you
you
follow
don't
the rule.
realize you are mastering the rule, and before you realize you've mastered the rule, it already builds another rule on top of it.
Yeah, it doesn't do that at all because it still kind of thinks that it's a shooter. So what it does to get harder is it just adds more enemies and more difficult environments, but never in a way that was as challenging as I wanted it to be. It never got frustrating, really. Which is also partly because it's super rewarding and respawns are like instant. So that's good. But
Super rewarding.
I can't stop saying super now.
You've said super a lot.
Yeah, I really have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's also just way too short. So it's only 32 levels. You can finish it in 4 hours.
It's not short. You had an addiction. You just wanted the virus, man.
Well,
Stop playing.
I mean, arguably, like it being short is a good thing, because if it were longer and didn't introduce any new ideas, then it would just get repetitive and boring.
That's true.
So-
but I think the point of
think
like
that it would.
What if it had more systems though? Like what if it
Right.
did?
Well,
what if
that's
it kept
the point.
being as smart as it thought it was?
Yeah.
That's the point. Like you need to throw in those new ideas, new spins on that same idea. Otherwise, just making a game longer is just repetitive.
I mean,
It doesn't necessarily.
what I would have asked for was different kinds of enemies.
Right.
Yeah.
Rather than different.
Yeah, like what if there were dudes with like riot shields that you could only kill from behind or something?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. That
Or
would
even like dudes that came from above.
yeah.
That they never really tinker with
Dogs?
a lot. Dogs would be cool. Don't kill
There's
dogs.
a lot of stuff in it that
Robot monkeys?
makes sure
Yeah,
that it's
robo-monks.
easy. Like when an enemy spawns, the area they spawn from will glow red, or they are bright red and everything else is white. And when they die, it shatters. It's like a glass
it's so
shattering sound.
satisfying.
It is
Yeah.
really
So
nice. There's a lot
satisfying.
of stuff that is there to make sure that it's not too hard. And I kind of wonder if it's what they originally built was really hard and frustrating, so then they toned it back. Because if I didn't
be.
know where enemies were spawning from, I would have died a
go
lot more
insane.
times
Yeah,
than I
yeah.
did. Because you have to kind of be aware of where everyone is at every point in time. So it's, I mean, what it is very cool. It just feels unfinished, or I want to say kind of lazy.
Well, it's not. I mean, lazy is a nasty
the
word.
mechanic's great.
Right. But I think the idea is just that they didn't really capitalize on the idea that they had.
I think they didn't know necessarily, right? They didn't
Sure.
anticipate it to become as well liked as it is, and they were like, oh no, I guess we got to make more of this. So they made as much as they could without it sort of overstaying its welcome.
But I mean, it was a Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's true, and it was only $250,000, which is not a lot of money
That's
to
right.
make a video game.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they had have added different kinds of enemies, I think that would have changed it a lot.
Sure.
But
I guess I commend them for being judicious with the $250,000 they had.
yeah, I'm still, regardless of the issues that it does have, I still totally recommend
Yeah,
it.
the game
I think
is
it's really fun.
super good.
hot.
Check back in 2018 for a review of the sequel, Superhots.
Well,
Oh, I like that.
I don't know, Dan, if we will re-review it when it comes out on VR.
I mean, my current thinking is to do separate VR reviews, because the interaction with things is so different.
It's really different.
Just to circle back, when I did play it on the DK2, like one of the things they were showing off was the positional head tracking, which it always tracks like what direction you're looking in, but not necessarily where your head is in like if you move your head side to side. It didn't know the DK1 did not know that. The
Yeah.
DK2 and the consumer version do, and that made it like I was playing it sitting down, but like there was a bullet coming at my head, so instead of like stepping to the side, I just slumped down in my chair and it passed over my head.
Just took a nice nap.
That's good.
I just went like, and it was,
I would have loved to be able to do
Riveting
that.
for the
That
audio,
would've
no
been
doubt.
great.
I described it first.
That's really
I think
good.
that would like save me a lot.
Yeah.
That would have helped, but the game is obviously designed for VR in that the story is kind of VR focused. It has like a VR part in the menu.
Sure,
It's
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
meant to be a VR game.
Yep.
And I think it'll play pretty well, though it has a lot of, it's really pixelated in all the cutscenes, and there's like a lot of transitions that are just bright white. I'm like, I wonder if this will
That sounds
blind
awful
people.
in VR.
Yeah.
The first VR death.
Yeah. Camera cuts in VR are really, really, really
Just
jarring.
like
Yeah.
really, really bright and
But yeah, that's just an example of like how different playing a game in VR is going to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like something could be a great 2D game that just doesn't work in VR, or vice versa. So
Is this going to work from the get-go on Oculus when it comes out in March?
I believe
idea.
so. I mean, it worked.
I assume so.
It worked like a year or two ago.
Well,
so
yeah, the way that I
know.
was playing it was the whole time, like the screen was bent because it was on VR
Sure,
settings.
yeah.
So it's, I assume it probably works straight away.